Hello everyone, and welcome to today's tutorial on HTML hexadecimal colors. So in this video we are going to cover everything you need to know about hex colors in HTML, and by the end of this tutorial you will understand exactly how to use them in your web development projects. So what are exactly hexadecimal colors are? So let's start with the basics. A hexadecimal color in HTML is a way to specify colors using a special code format. So this format uses the hashtag symbol followed by six characters. I'm gonna write here. It is followed by the format uses hashtag, okay, then followed by six characters like F, 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 and then F, and then F. These are the six characters. Okay, in this way it's written. So the format looks like this, hashtag RG. Okay, it looks like R, and then R, G, then G, and B, and B. Okay, red, red, green, green, and blue, blue. Now what do these letters mean? The first two characters, if you see double R, the first two characters after the hashtag represent the red component of the color. Okay, the next two characters represent the green component, and the final two characters represent the blue component. So when you see a hex color like hashtag uh, double F, in this way, double F and then 0 0 0 and 0, so you are looking at a code that defines how much red, green, and blue should be mixed together to create a specific color. So, before we dive deeper, let's understand what hexadecimal means. In our everyday life, we use the decimal system, which has 10 digits, okay, 0 through 9. But hexadecimal is a base 16 system, which means it uses 16 different characters. So these 16 characters are which are 0, and if you use here BR, for example, I want to write this in the pre-formatted text that first of all is 0. Okay, then there is 0, and also there is 1, and then there is 2, and then 3, and after this 4, 5, 6, and 7, and 8, and then 9, and it continues with the letters A, B, C, D, E, and F. So what does this 0 represents? A 0 represents the lowest value. Okay, that's the lowest value. So what does 1 represents? So if you see, 1 represents the value from that is greater than the lowest value, I mean that is greater than 0. So now let's look at the format more carefully. The hex color format is hashtag double R, as you can see double R, okay, here, and then double G, and then double B. Each pair of the characters can range from 0 0 to FF. Okay, when we say 0 0, that means that a particular color component is completely off or at its minimum. Okay, when we say double F, that means that particular color component is at its maximum intensity. Okay, so when there is for example, I want to cut it all this, and if we say that for example, I want to again use this pre-code, and if you say 0 and 0, it means it is minimum, and when you say F and F, it means maximum intensity. Let's work together some examples to make this crystal clear. Take the hex color hashtag double F, 0, and then 0, and then 0. For example, in this way, you see double F, then 0, then 0, and 0, and 0. Okay, four zeros. So let's break this down. The first two characters are double F. This is the red component at its maximum. The next two characters are double zero. This is the green component at its minimum, and the last two characters are 0 0. This is the blue component at its minimum. So what color do we get? We get pure red, because red is set to its highest possible value, and both green and blue are turned off completely. Okay, so now let's look at the hashtag 0. For example, if we see this color hashtag, then we use 0 0 and FF, and then we use again 0 and 0. So the first two characters are 0 and 0. It means that red is at minimum. The next two characters are FF. It means that green is at its maximum. So the last two characters are 0 0. It means that blue is at minimum. This gives us pure green color. Only the green component is turned on to its fullest while red and blue are off. Okay. I think it is making sense, huh? So what about hashtag? If we use hashtag 0 and 0 and then again 0 and again 0 and then F and F. Okay, let's analyze this. So first two characters 00, it means no red. Next two characters 00, it means no green. Last two characters FF maximum blue. This displays pure blue color. Okay. So here is an interesting one. To display black, we set all color parameters to 0 and 0. For example, in this way, if we want to show the black, okay? So the code looks like this, hashtag, as you can see, 00, then 00, and then 00. Why does this give us black? Because black is the absence of all light. Okay, what is black? Black is the absence of all light. When red, green, and blue are all at their minimum, we get complete darkness, which is black. So what about white? So white is the opposite of black. To get white, it means black. Okay, and FF, FF, and FF. This means the complete white. When red, green, and blue are all at maximum intensity, they combine to create white. So in this physics. Okay. So let's explore some additional colors to really understand how this works. Now we will use the real examples. For example, we have here three headings and we are going to change the colors. Okay, the background colors. I'm going to use style attribute and then background value color. And now we will use the, as you can see, the hex values. Okay, so here we need hash, and then we are going to use, for example, uh, if we use a hashtag 4 and 4, then 4, and if we again 4 and again 4, so you can see would give us a darker gray. And if we use here, for example, C, C, and C, C, and then again C, so you can see would give us a lighter gray in the preview tab, as you can see. The key point here is when all the three color components are equal, you get a shade of gray. The lower the three values, the darker the gray. Okay, so the higher the values, the lighter the gray. So if we want to get a yellow color, okay, so let me use the second heading by using the style attribute and then background color. Okay, and then we use hashtag. So if we want to get the yellow color, so yellow is created by mixing red and green. So the hex code would be hashtag double F, okay, 4 times F and then 0 and 0. So as you can see, and double F stands for maximum red, and double F next stands for maximum green. So 0 0 is for blue, it is minimum. So red plus green gives us yellow color. Okay, so if we want to get a cyan color, okay, so let me use here the style attribute and then background color, and we are going to get here the cyan color. So cyan is a blue green color. It's made by maximum green and blue at the maximum with no red. So the code would be hashtag and then 0 and 0 and then FF and then F. So in this way we can get the cyan color. If we want to get the magenta color, for example, if we want to get the magenta color, so check this. We have to use FF and then 0 and 0 and then FF. So in this way you will get the magenta color. Okay, so magenta is created by mixing red and blue. Okay, magenta is created by mixing red and blue. As you can see in the preview tab, our magenta color has been enabled. So magenta is created by mixing red and blue. The hex code, as you can see, double F, double 0, and double F. So for example, now you don't always have to use 0 0 or FF. You can use any hexadecimal value between 00 and FF, which gives you millions of possible color combinations. For example, if we use the hashtag in this example, in the second example, if we use, for example, uh, hashtag double F and then 8000 would be a slightly different. Okay, for example, if I use here double F and then 8 and then I use 0 and 0 and 0, so you can see it is a darker red because the red component is at FF, and it means the maximum, so 80 instead of 4F. So if we use the for example, I am gonna use here 7F and then again 0 and 0 and 0 and again 0. So you can see it is the medium red, it is at maximum. Okay, so the higher the hexadecimal value for any component, the more intense that color is. The lower the value, the less intense or darker that component becomes. So this formula works. So, some important things to remember when working with the hex colors. The hashtag symbol is required. If you forget it, the color code won't work. For example, if I remove the hashtag from here, the color component will not work. Okay, so let me here you remove the hashtag, so the color won't work. Okay, this letter in the hex codes are not case sensitive. You can write hashtag f double four times the zero, or hashtag f double f and 4 times 0. Both will work exactly the same way. Okay, so you can use the hexadecimal colors in several places in HTML and CSS, and you might want write something like style equals code, as you can see, style attribute and then code background, and then you use the hashtag 7F00 and 00. So try these colors and you will understand the hex colors is a fundamental to the web development and design, and they will give you the precise control over every color element on your web page, from the background syntax to the borders and shadows. So now you have complete knowledge of the HTML hexadecimal colors. You understand what they are, how they work, how to read them, and how to use them in your projects. Thank you for watching this tutorial. If you found this helpful, please like this video and subscribe to the channel for more web development content. If you have any question about hex colors or anything else related to HTML and CSS, feel free to leave a comment below and I'll be happy to help. Happy coding, and I'll see you in the next video.